coverage you can count on.
We say all of the time, and rightly so, what a wonderful place it is to live here in Chattanooga and Hamilton County, full of nice people who are always eager to step in and help. That includes the surrounding areas in North Georgia and Alabama as well. But once a year, the American Red Cross has an opportunity to really salute some local heroes who've gone above and beyond. And Julia Wright is on the show with us this morning. Happy to get that celebration started. So good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
It's the Heroes Luncheon, and I think I am right. It's just once a year, right?
It is. This is our 16th annual Heroes Luncheon, where we'll be honoring local folks that have been nominated by our community and selected as this year's Heroes Award honorees.
I think it's an amazing thing because, as I understand it, that during the day when you're recognizing them at that luncheon, many of them are first responders that's their calling in life. But sometimes they're just average civilians who stepped in a crisis and did something remarkable. Is that right?
Occasionally they are first responders who do that for a living, but on the most part they're not. This year we're honoring a gentleman from Wright Brothers Construction, Jacob Grammer, who was just traveling for his job and come upon an accident and was the first person there and rendered first aid and was the only person to stop to help until EMS arrived. And then we have others like Wendy Ransom, who has really dedicated her life to Emily's Power for a Cure. And then we have others like Denise Kell, who has spent the last 20 years feeding her community at the Sequatchie County Food Bank. So we have a lot of different ones that are not necessarily first responders. We do have one that is an actual first responder this year, Nick Wilson, who unlike his normal saves, he actually saved an animal. I mean, it's going to be a great story about how he saved someone's pet from a fire.
Oh, wow. So, okay, I'm interested to go back to Wendy's part of the story and Denise Kell. Is that right? That's her name?
That's correct.
Because I do tend to think about the Red Cross as that there's an emergency, a crisis happens, and the Red Cross is there. But the truth is, y'all are there every single day.
That's right. And these folks are too. And these are the people in our community that make it work. They're the ones who are there before the disaster, after the disaster, and they partner with us in various different ways. But we really just want to recognize people in our community, and these nominations come from our community. So it's people in the community that have recognized people who, out of selflessness, have given back to their community in a really big and powerful way. And we want to just be able to recognize them through the Red Cross because that embodies the spirit of what we do.
On a day-to-day basis, at the Red Cross, what do you do? If someone is watching this morning and thinking, okay, I'd love to come to the luncheon and let my ticket entry in, kind of go back to support them, but I want to be more involved. Are y'all looking for volunteers?
Absolutely. So right now, one of the biggest needs we have for volunteers is with our disaster response teams. Those teams are typically a team of 2 individuals that will go to a home fire when it happens at all hours of the day or night, and they're called out and they're there to provide comfort and support and help those families with those immediate needs of food, clothing, and shelter, and then help them get connected through the Red Cross and other resources to build their long-term recovery plan in a situation where it has been just put upon them suddenly and they're having to reevaluate everything that they have known and how they live and try to recreate their life to some kind of normalcy. So we're there to help them through that process.
You must sit back and watch those volunteers and just scratch your head in amazement.
Absolutely.
That somebody has that kind of heart.
Absolutely, and they're very, very dedicated volunteers. You know, this isn't isn't the easiest volunteer opportunity that we have. We do have others that are not quite as demanding and taxing, but we have others. We have caseworkers that follow up with clients afterwards. We have what we call a dispatcher duty officer. That person's the one that sends out all the calls. So there's lots of opportunities to volunteer at the Red Cross with our disaster relief program, anything from becoming a shelter worker and deploying into other areas, or even here, unfortunately, if we have to open a shelter, to working with our volunteer services teams to help encourage and recognize other volunteers. So there's lots of opportunities for different skill sets, and if you're interested in the Red Cross, I'm sure we have something that would be of interest to about anyone.
So often you find that somebody gets into their line of work or their hobby or whatever because of a life experience.
Yes.
So sometimes do your volunteers, have they been benefited themselves by the Red Cross?
Actually, we do have some volunteers that have come back to us not just a year or two, like 20 years later.
Wow.
We have a volunteer now who comes in several days a week and works at the front desk and greets folks. And she had a house fire over 20 years ago, and her children were still little, and it wasn't a good time for her to volunteer. But now she's raised her children, and she's found the time, and she's come back, and she's helping us on a regular basis. And we love those stories because we know that we really did make an impact on someone, not just at that moment, but for their entire life.
Well, you know, it's kind of the saying of if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound?
Right.
People do good things every day.
That's right.
And there might not be anyone there to see it, but it doesn't mean the good thing didn't happen.
That's exactly the purpose of this honorees, is that these folks are doing things every day, and we want to make them special and let the community recognize them as well.
Yes.
And it's just a wonderful feeling to be able to recognize them. And we work with the station here, and Cindy Sexton is our MC every year. She does such a fabulous job with that, and it's really a great event. It is at lunchtime, so it does last about an hour and a half, so we try to get everybody out so they can go quickly. But tickets are still available at redcross.org/realheroes. So if anyone's interested in coming to our event, we would love to have you and help us recognize these folks in our community.
They deserve the round of applause they get that day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you for having me.
Kubota LO1 Series tractors, powerful Kubota diesel engine, easy operation, and a dependable Kubota gear or HST transmission. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, Kubota of Chattanooga, 2628 Rossville Boulevard in Chattanooga.
At Chattanooga College, we believe our graduates can make a difference in the lives of others. That's why we offer programs in both medical and dental assisting. Our graduates play a vital role in modern healthcare by using their training to help make a difference and improve the lives of their patients. That's what making a difference is all about, and it all starts at Chattanooga College. Visit chattanoogacollege.edu today. That's chattanoogacollege.edu. Chattanooga College, because a small college can make a big difference.
It would appear that the butler did it. But this isn't a whodunit film. It's a Nissan sales event in it. Now that's a killer deal. Good thing this Rogue has a VC turbo engine, unlike RAV4.
Now get 0% APR financing for 36 months on Rogue.
Catch these offers while you can.
Facing an unexpected pregnancy, you have options. Choices of Chattanooga offers the support you need to make an informed decision and empowered choice. Whether you are looking to confirm your pregnancy with an ultrasound, rule out the possibility of an STI, or want a safe place to process your fears or other emotions, Choices is here for you. To schedule a no-cost and confidential appointment, visit choiceschattanooga.org.
Kubota LO1 Series tractors, powerful Kubota diesel engine, easy operation, and a dependable Kubota gear or HST transmission. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, Kubota of Chattanooga, 2628 Rossville Boulevard in Chattanooga.
Mermaid Mattress Clearance Centers. Better mattress, way better price.
You are going to be so glad that you were watching 3+U this morning, because we have traveled out of the studio and we are at the Good Kinsman on Cherokee Boulevard. I'm guessing a lot of you have heard about it. Perhaps you have not yet ventured into the store, but you will be after this. I'm talking with owner Vicki Lawrenson about her beautiful store.
Thank you.
Thanks
Welcome.
for welcoming us in. So we can talk about a lot of things, because part of the store is dedicated to your kitchen. The side of the store that we are on, though, is all the tabletop beauty. And you have become real destination shopping now for brides, because you have a bridal registry.
We do. We've worked really hard to build a collection of china that fits every bride. We encourage them to come in and start picking their selections here. They can go from the very high-end china to just something really classic, to handmade china, pottery that we get from Italy. So it's from all of the areas that they can work from.
So you make that sound easy, but the truth is that's kind of daunting.
It can be. Brides do get pretty intimidated when they come in, but what we do is we work with them. We tell them to start with your plate, start with your dinner plate, because that is the main piece of what you're going to be using on a really regular basis. Once they have selected their dinner plate, then we can go, to a 5-piece place setting, or we can go to just something, really simple, butter plate, and then onto their glassware. So it's really up to the brides. The rules really don't apply anymore.
Right.
It's what the bride wants.
I like the fact that those rules don't apply, but a lot of us are kind of conditioned now to this day and age where kind of formalities have taken a back seat. A lot of us eat standing up at the kitchen counter. I'm raising my hand on that one. So we can forget the joy of homemaking, and that's kind of what you're bringing back.
Right. Well, and I think, I tell even a bride who doesn't cook, because that's probably the biggest thing I get is, well, I don't cook, but you can present. And even if that means just putting a nice napkin down with your regular everyday flatware in a nice bowl and taking a moment to just spoil yourself for 15 minutes while you enjoy that meal. That's what we're about.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be this big over the top thing. It can be just small little moments that make you and your spouse or your family happy.
Right. I know you cater to a wide variety of people, but back to the bride, they tend to be a little bit younger, and they're online shoppers.
Yes.
So are you watching them when they come in and actually get to feel and touch? Are they loving that experience?
A lot of them haven't. Like, they actually haven't held a piece of china in their hand and a piece of stoneware in their hand or a piece of pottery. They don't know what the differences are. And so when they get those in their hand and they feel them, they're like, wow, this is really cool. We do that also with the glassware. We ask them to hold it, feel it.
Right.
So you get a sense of what you're holding in your hand. And some of them like the really light and fine blown crystal. Other ones like the heavier glassware. It just really depends. But touching it does make a big difference.
You mentioned kind of guiding them through on what they're going to want for their place settings, but then as I'm looking around, you have all of the accent pieces. I mean, pretty copper pieces and platters that you can serve with. So do you kind of guide them that way too?
We really just encourage them to tell us what they like and not worry about whether it goes together, because that's what everybody always asks us is, does this go together? And what I tell them is, if you love it and you put it in your home and you're really proud of it, it will work. There's not a rule. It's a matter of just finding the things that really speak to you.
You know, that's a hard thing to believe when you're starting out, but we're probably close in age. And I look around my house and I'll see things that I bought 35 years ago.
Right.
And I still love them, and they go with something I bought 6 months ago.
Exactly. Because innately, I think you're drawn to things that speak to you.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when you have a spouse. You know what will make him happy. You know what will make him look at that particular piece that you have in your house and feel some joy.
Right.
And so when you build your house around those things, you're just creating those special moments all the time.
Do you find that you're, when girls and women come in, they're kind of looking at first for the practical, but their eye really goes to the occasional pieces that are so beautiful?
That is a very true statement. They do ask if things are dishwasher friendly, and as I tell them, most things are dishwasher friendly. But if you want some of your really fine china pieces to last a long time, the best thing to do is to take care of it in that way.
Right.
And we give them some specific instructions to that.
One thing I noticed when I was walking in and kind of looking around back here, you've got beautiful candles and tapers. Not all candles are made the same.
Right. There are, we spend a lot of time making sure that what you put in your home is good for you. And so I really think that if people take some time and they look at the way that candles are made, they'll find that there are products that are out there that are better for them, better for their home environment, better for their family. And so we try to find companies that really respect that, that use waxes that are verified, that use scents that don't cause issues. And so we do carry some of the older house lines, one from Spain in particular. And then we carry 100% beeswax candles also.
Nice. And can I ask about your linens? Beautiful, beautiful textiles that
yes,
you have.
we carry quite a few lines. We carry some from France. We carry Garnet Thurbeau, which is a French line. We carry Tessitura Party, which is an Italian line. We do carry some classical lines, and then we'll also be carrying a lot of lines for the bridal registries so that they can pick some sort of everyday linens all the way up to their fine linens.
I made a joke with you earlier. So my daughter's getting married, and I thought, oh, this is the perfect spot for me. And I said, but can the mother of the bride have a registry? And you said yes. That you see women come in and
mothers always create their wish lists along with their brides because also this is an opportunity for them to hand some things over to their daughters.
True.
And at the same time sort of build their next chapter of China. And that becomes, you know, we don't want to do all the formal stuff, so we want to do a lot more entertaining with our friends, and so they'll want to repurchase for that next chapter because the kids are no longer going to be there.
If they are coming in to talk to you about a registry, is it a good idea to make an appointment?
Yes, if they would like to spend time with our registry staff, they need to do that so that they will have that dedicated time. And we do make appointments on Sundays and Mondays for that, or after hours if they need be.
Well, go survey your kitchen and then come here. It is a beautiful, beautiful place, and she wants you to feel welcomed in, even if you're coming that first time, just to kind of get a lay of the land and see, then go back home and come back to make your purchases. Vicki, thank you.
Thank you.
It's the Good Kinsman on Cherokee Boulevard, their phone number and website. And do you have a Facebook page?
We do. It's Good Kinsman, yes.
Follow them on
and
Facebook.
Instagram.